Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. It's May 22nd. We're scheduled to have a meeting tomorrow morning on Zoom, but I need to cancel that. Have some health challenges I'm going through right now. I was in the hospital yesterday and I'm home recovering now. I'm actually at my in-laws' house watching the dog. But so I'm going to need to stay home and just rest tomorrow. But I wanted to make sure I gave you a couple of pieces of information, and so hence this video. So it's the end of the school year, the end of the semester, and first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to all of you for doing what you can with the capacity that you have to reach out to high school students, to tell them that they matter, and to try to encourage them spiritually. Believe me, I know how hard it is. I know how hard it's been personally, and I'm sure it's been difficult for you personally in a variety of ways. And so it's been even more difficult to try to encourage others, and that's really exhausting. And I know that as we approach summer, so many of us are looking forward to an opportunity for rest, an opportunity to just inhale and maybe feel like we can come back to life just a little bit as the world begins to reopen. And first and foremost, I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to take time to make sure that your heart is completely rooted in Christ. To take time to make sure that you and your household are connected, happy, and healthy. Because the ministry that you do with these high school students starts with the relationship that you have with Christ. And so, if you're feeling distant from God right now, if you're feeling like your relationship with Him is just in a dark place, there's no judgment on that, and Christ doesn't judge you for that. In fact, when it was in its darkest place, He came to save you. And I want to come alongside of you, and I want to help encourage you into a healthy place with Christ. So this summer, I hope that's something that you can do, reconnect with God. Now, we also know that a lot of our students are going to be exhaling as well. And while that's a really wonderful thing, we also have to keep our eye on that, because as they rest and potentially disconnect even more, we also want to be careful to not let them disconnect so much that we lose sight of them. In fact, this summer, I'm kind of deeming this the summer of reconnection. Reconnecting in three different ways. Reconnecting with our community, reconnecting with the Lord, and then reconnecting in serving. When I talk about reconnecting with our community, obviously our WDS community hasn't met as a whole group for over a year and a half now. And that's been really challenging. You know, we started COVID by doing these online gatherings, and those were super useful at the time, but then people got really tired of them. They got tired of being online for yet another video. So this summer, what I'm going to be doing is I've scheduled a handful of different just gatherings, just hanging out. It's the low bar thing, but it's for the entire community from 9th grade through 12th grade, barbecues at the church. And I'll be showing a movie. We'll have a movie night. We'll have food. We'll have yard games. Super laid back. Just a time for people to come back together and be with one another. There won't be a talk. I'll do something to rally everyone up, but it's just a time for us just to hang out and reconnect. I highly encourage you to take advantage of these opportunities, because it's a chance for you to focus on your students without having to do any of the planning, without having to go out of your way to restructure life. You could show up for 2 hours on a Friday night, spend some time with your students, find that it's meaningful, see other leaders, feel like you're part of something larger than just your small group, and then head home. So we're going to be doing actually 4 of those across the summer, 1 in June, 1 in July, and then 2 in August. And that's what we're doing kind of at the low bar to reconnect as a community. Now, I fully expect to offer, 1, 2, or 3 other opportunities in the summer just for fun, probably like tubing down the Brandywine or some other kind of fun activity, but those haven't been planned yet. They're not on the calendar yet, but they're going to be laid back as well and simple and just a chance for people to get together. Now, reconnecting with the Lord. What I want to do is try to create spaces for students where they can reconnect with their spiritual life. For many of them, they actually haven't been coming to small group. But what I found is that by creating these pop-up Bible study spaces, students who have been distant from small group are more likely to just jump in, because it's short, it's only a week long, and it's with a bunch of people that they know probably haven't been connected as well. So I'm going to be offering 3 different pop-up gatherings this summer, 1 in June, 1 in July, and 1 in August. We'll be studying the Gospel of Mark in June, the book of Ruth in July, and actually the Sermon on the Mount in August. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity to just connect with students every day for a week to reflect on who God is and what it means to follow him. And so encourage your students to be part of that. They're likely going to be from 9 a.m. until about 10:30 a.m. in the morning. If you can be part of it, man, come on out. Love to have you there. They're always really fulfilling and life-giving times. So that's reconnecting with Christ. Now, on top of that, what we're also going to be doing is I'm just going to continue to encourage our students and their families to reconnect with the worship service again. I've noticed that people are becoming more and more comfortable with coming back, and I understand that completely. It takes time. I mean, this past Sunday, I led worship at Jennersville, and we didn't have masks on. And on an intellectual level, I was okay with that. But on a visceral level, it just felt unusual, and I needed to kind of process through that. So I get that families have had a little bit of a hard time transitioning back into in-person worship. But we want to encourage that because we know that that's one of the best practices, one of the things that encourages students spiritually above so many other things. And so we want to encourage that. So that's reconnecting with God through these pop-up Bible studies, encouraging them to go to church, and then also through a couple of other things that I'm working on right now. I might do a worship and prayer night, but that's still an idea that's just out there and hasn't been set on the calendar yet. Now, lastly, reconnecting with serving. You notice that we've got these themes: community, Christ in the church, and serving. All of these are some of our key ingredients for spiritual growth and influencing students, nurturing a lasting faith. So for serving, what we're talking about is encouraging students to serve at the family wipeout gatherings. They're going to happen at our Kennett campus 3 times this summer, and it's going to be a great chance for them to come together, serve families, be part of a small wipeout experience. And it's been really cool because I've seen some students who have been distant for a while. They're actually already registered to serve, which says to me that this is a place where they feel safe to reconnect. And quite frankly, I've struggled with that idea that our students need to feel comfortable with the space where they're going to reconnect. I've thought, well, they know me, they know all of us. Can't they just come to anything we're doing? But I think for certain students, they need something that's familiar, and Wipeout has been familiar for them in the past. So encourage your students to serve at Family Wipeout. It's going to be a great chance for all of us just to be together, serve the community, serve families, but also build deeper relationships with one another. So those are the 3 big things that I'm pursuing this summer when it comes to helping WDS reconnect. Now, across the summer, we're also going to be looking at the programmatic plan for next school year. Some of you know that before COVID even started, I was on the fence about having Sunday night gatherings. I felt as though while they were enjoyable, they actually occupied time that students could have used or allocated towards going to small group earlier in the week. I found that some students were choosing between either small group or Sunday night, and sometimes they were choosing Sunday night. I get that, but small group is way more effective for them, and it serves them way better. So here's my disclaimer. I don't know if we're going to bring Sunday night back. I'm just not sure. And I need to work through that with some of my coworkers and with Kathy and a few others, but I'd also like to work through that with you. I'd love to have you think about that and get together with you this summer for coffee, just to check in on your spiritual life and to reflect on your perspective on Sunday nights and the role that it plays, and if you think we should bring it back. That's not to say that I don't think we would have anything that brings everyone together. Certainly that would happen. Now I've got a minute and a half left to try to get everything else in that I'd like to get in because watching a 10-minute video is difficult. So that's a little bit of the cue up on the Sunday night thing. One other thing that I want us to know is that, I've got a small group of freshman guys. Heather McMillan leads our small group of freshman girls. They're all wonderful people, but it's been difficult transitioning them into our community because of COVID. Because we didn't have a large group neutral space where they could just kind of come and observe everyone and decide if they felt like it was a safe space. Instead, we've had to bring them into these personal spaces, which are small groups. And while we've been able to connect with students, COVID certainly made it difficult, on top of the fact that students are already invested in school and sports and all these other things. It just was a little bit difficult to get students to invest into small groups with this particular class. Now we're starting to see that shift, especially as COVID begins to shift, and I'm certainly encouraged by that. I know that Heather's feeling some semblance of encouragement, but we want to try to figure out how do we welcome our new freshmen even more effectively. I don't feel like I've led us well in that area, but I've been talking with some of you and talking with some other people, and what we're going to do this summer is create like one or two different opportunities for our girls and for our guys where we can welcome in the new freshmen. It'll be a chance where the girls get together just to do something really fun, but intentionally pursue our new freshman girls and work to build relationships with them so that they feel included, seen, and like they belong in our WDS community. The same will also happen for our guys. So here's my cautionary word. We're all going to want to do things that we know our students are going to like. Things that we know our guys are going to want to like. Things that we know our girls are going to want to like. And certainly we want to create something that's attractive to them so that they are there. But we also want to think about, man, what is going to be something that these ninth graders are going to want to be part of? And so I'm going to be doing some research behind the scenes just to understand who these students are a bit more. And I'm going to bring that information into our separate conversations that I'm having with the guys and I'm having with the girls to help formulate what our plan will be for welcoming these students really well. Now that's freshmen, right? So we've talked about your spiritual health. We've talked about our reconnection plan. We've talked about welcoming freshmen. Now I want to talk for a minute about saying goodbye to seniors. Now, it's hard to believe, but 4 weeks ago, COVID was really no different than it was about a year ago. Certainly we had the vaccines, and that's been given us reason for positivity, but things have changed really quickly, and it kind of feels like this is moving just as fast, ending as it did beginning. We're going from wearing masks to suddenly not needing to wear masks, like we went from no masks to suddenly wearing masks all the time. So I say all that just to say, we've got a plan that's going, and I apologize because I haven't effectively communicated this out to those of you who have seniors. I apologize for that, and I don't want to disrupt any of the things that you're doing for your seniors, but I want to let you know of opportunities that I'm also creating to celebrate and honor your seniors. And they're twofold, but they're on the same date. June 6th, in between the first service and the second service, we're going to be hosting a time where we pray for our seniors. And so I'm going to be sending an email out to parents of seniors here in the next day or so. I actually believe it's going on Monday. That is going to encourage them to come out for Senior Sunday to the church and have their student prayed over and kind of like sent out in between services. Now, we're doing it in between services because we want families to come to worship service together, but also because we're going to have a barbecue after the second service. Now, the barbecue isn't like specifically for graduating seniors. It's for the whole church. We're going to celebrate Greg heading out into his sabbatical. That's his last day. But we're also going to find a way just to take a moment and to celebrate our seniors. If we step back and we look at this class of graduating seniors, they are unbelievably influential in the life of this church. Whether it's leading in Clubhouse or in special needs ministry or in worship arts or in other areas of the church, this class of seniors have really owned and cared for this church, and we are better because of them. So we want to make sure that they are celebrated. Now, that being said, I'm creating a video with some of them right now that'll be played in the service, but I'm also working to purchase Bibles and to write personal letters to all of our graduating seniors. So I encourage you, think about what you can do to celebrate these seniors. But if you have time on Sunday, June 6th, I'd love to have you be there for the prayer in between services and then also the barbecue after the second service. I'm not saying you have to be there for all 2 hours, but just there long enough to connect with the parents of these students and give them a chance to tell you thank you, but also just to kind of see them off. So we've gone through a lot of stuff here. I've got a list in front of me. Lastly, we're getting ready to onboard some new volunteer small group leaders. So these small group leaders are coming on with our freshman students, and I'm actually supposed to meet with them tomorrow, but given the fact that I still don't feel great, I got a fever right now, stomach is killing me, probably going to meet with them later this week. But all that being said, I want to make sure that we welcome them into our community really well. Now, we've got 2 guys who are coming up with their 8th graders, most likely. And then we've got a new leader who's going to step in and lead the new freshman girls. But we need another female leader. We also could use another leader for both Maggie's soon-to-be junior girls and Heather's soon-to-be sophomore girls. So we need more female leaders. And if you know of any, man, let me know. Be praying about it. We want to see more leaders join our team. I know I need another leader for my soon-to-be sophomore guys small group. So just join me in praying for that. Now, one other thing. June 6th, jumping back to that, we have a team party, a barbecue. We're having our own barbecue June 6th up at the Kelleher's house in Kennett Square. It's going to be a great chance just for us to hang out. It would mean a lot to have you there because I want to celebrate you. I want to say thank you to you. The other thing with this is that the Jennersville community is going to be there, and the middle school community from Kennett is going to be there as well. So it's just going to be a big party. I'd love to have you there. I'd love to give you a gift and just say thank you for what you've done, because I cannot believe you have stuck with your students through COVID. I'm so grateful because I know how hard it's been for me. And I can't imagine how difficult and how much of a trial or challenge it's been for you. But thank you for loving your students and for caring for them through this. I hear from each of you about difficult things that you're having to shepherd these students through. And I'm just so grateful for your heart. And I want to celebrate you on June 6th. You should have gotten the Evite already. Please go back and RSVP. And I look forward to seeing you there. All right, guys. Love you all. Praying for you all. Really looking forward to being together in person again. And I'll talk to you soon.